This is the CMT Trade Fair in Stuttgart. This vehicle has just been released by Strada. Now, I understand that they did something like this once before. This is a monocoque motorhome on a Mercedes Sprinter basis. It's very original. No one is doing anything similar to this as far as I am aware. It is, well, I think it really is outstanding and original. There are other companies doing monocoque vans. There's nothing absolutely unusual about that, although of course the monocoque is a much more expensive solution than, for example, building a van out of, as you often see with GFK and things like that, where it's actually so the walls are all glued together. In this case, you'll want the price, and that won't give you much change, up from 150,000. Okay, the start price is 101,000, so you've got effectively 45,000+ of extras added onto it. The most expensive one, incidentally, is an engine upgrade, as always in these things. But you've got other things such as the aluminium hubcaps. You've got things of the furniture, the technical things. The navigation system comes to 2,000 euros. So gives you an idea. Let's have a quick look in here as well into the what do you call this? The garage. So some of the features in here. Well, it's raised. This one here has got a lithium battery, and I think that's a 3 kilowatt inverter, if memory serves me correctly. And there you've got entrance into the motorhome if you're in the garage, but probably you're inside the motorhome, so that's your entrance into the garage should you want to sort of escape from your dog or something like that. Right, so what we'll do now is, I think we'll have a look inside the van. Inside the vehicle, I'd have to say that it's got a very luxurious touch to it, although I do appreciate that this is very much a personal opinion. You may not like the colour scheme, you may think it looks too cold, sterile even. I'd understand that, but anyway, let's have a look at some of the features of it. We'll come to the very back, I think, to start off with. And okay, you've got this enormous window at the back, as well as one up here, which is sort of divided into two parts at the moment, but you could probably wouldn't have it with that light in there. Now, what have you got here? Well, if you want to sort of escape out the back and get into the garage for some reason, that's the way you do it. There's the way into the garage. Got drawers down here, as you can tell. I'll close that. And have a look at this one as well. Now, what Strada is particularly good at, in my opinion, is storage, although I do appreciate that some may think it looks a bit like an office. I mean, that's a really deep in there. Oh, that's a brilliant wardrobe. Missing, it's a bit uncomfortable because you have to go down, but I mean, where else is it going to be? And of course, in the steps, and that's actually much deeper than it looks. You've got a bit more storage as well down here in the floor. Let's have a look at it. Oh, lift that up and you can see, and there's another one here. Now, the bathroom is, I think, particularly good as well. Okay, with this sink, it looks enormous. Let's put the sink up. Light comes in, lights as I walk in. There you have a look at the floor. Obviously, I've got my clothes on at the moment, so you probably wouldn't have a shower with your clothes on. Unless your clothes were dirty, of course. I mean, that might get them clean. And that shows you here how much room there is in the shower, look. So, touching the wall. plenty of room in the shower. Got this plastic divider there, but I possibly would leave it open. Although of course then the toilet would get wet. Thought this opened, and it does. Okay, come round to the kitchen. I think the kitchen's quite practical. I think some people will complain that having 2 and not 3 rings. That's quite honest. I think 3 is absolutely sufficient. The sink here is not particularly deep, but what it has got, you can see how deep it is. But what it has got, which is useful, I like the way that this tap is. I've got a tap like that. I know these taps used to be done like that and sort of not anymore, but I do appreciate that. I appreciate the shape of the sink. What I don't appreciate though is the plug hole being one of these small ones. I think we really need to get a larger domestic type one, in my opinion. Okay, fridge down here, which is domestic, relatively standard sort of fridge. I think it's a good size, although I think many people would complain it's not big enough. I think it's ample size for 2 people. And then it depends what you want to do. If all your food is in the fridge, then you've got your USB, and your shore power plugs there. I think that's been nicely done. Okay, here's the door. Here's the inside of the door. Looks a bit like a spaceship, I think. Well, I don't know what a spaceship looks like. I've never been in a spaceship. I'm just sort of guessing that would look like that. But it sort of looks a bit space age-y, sort of 1960s sort of space age-y. Well, I'm sure you know what I mean. Or you may not. Anyway, heating. You got your controls for your temperature, your water. You can see how much water you've got, and gas, and not gas. Electricity in your batteries. Sensible sliding tambour door there. Right, so here we've got the lounge. Now again, I appreciate it's a matter of taste. What do you think? I think that looks really good. I like the contrast of the colours, the blue and the grey. Got the table here. Now the table comes out, and what it does is it goes up behind this thing here. So this thing comes down, and it comes out like this. I'll pull it out now because I want to use it one hand, so you need 2. But the table goes behind that thing down here. If you don't want it out whilst you're driving, and to be quite honest, there's not a lot of room between the table and the chair. And the advantage here of getting rid of the table, it does mean to say for taller drivers, then they can get a bit more space for the legs. Admittedly though, I think personally I would have preferred a larger table in a van like this. Up the top you've got more light coming in through this skylight. Being on a Mercedes, you've got this fantastic display here. This is a new Sprinter. Now Mercedes Benz has introduced what it calls its advanced control. Haven't got it in this van, but the Mercedes Benz advanced control can actually control all your functions to do with your heating, your lighting, and others related to the camper van. Now we come to this thing here. What could this be? Well, let's have a look. Well, first of all, this here is a drawer, and this up here, this is something nobody else does. Well, some people does televisions, but none has a television in a location like that. So what you can do is you can sort of sit back here and watch the television. So in fact, in a way, most vans only have 2 television places, like for example where I'm sitting now, and the driver's seat like that. But okay, I do appreciate that's the way it is. I mean, lots of vans that put the television up there somewhere behind this wall here. In fact, I would understand somebody doing that like that. Okay, that's another location for it. Good. What do you think? Do you like the van or not really? Write down your answers below. Alright, so I'll go out now. Queue outside. So, I hope you found that interesting, and if you did, please subscribe.